Okay, so you'd like to figure out how to get the information to enter in this app. My name is Bill with Ridgeway Contracting, and I'm going to quickly do a tutorial here explaining how you're going to get this information. You're going to need three pieces of information. You're going to need to figure out the overall length of this spring, you're going to need to figure out the wire diameter size, and you're going to need to figure out the inside diameter of the cone. These springs, you can actually see right there, it'll say clearly on the side of the spring what you need. This is a 250 by 30, boom, there you go, that's what you need. But most springs are not going to be that nice. Most of the springs you see are going to be old, and they're going to be rusty, and they might be broke. But at anytime you mess with a spring, make sure they're not under tension. If you don't know what I'm talking about, or if you don't know, please call us before you mess with these springs. They're very dangerous, and they are under tension. They can hurt you. Okay, so to find out the inside diameter, how big is the spring right here? We want to look on the side of our stationary cone. On one of the sides, you're going to be able to see a number. This one is 1 3/4. That's how big the inside of the hole is, right there. Pretty common, 1 3/4. More common than that will be a 2-inch stationary cone, which is what this is right here. Okay, the second piece of information you need to find is what is your coil count. You're going to do a 10 and a 20 coil count. This is going to let you know the wire size. What is your wire diameter? Essentially, how big is the spring? It can be anything from 192, 207, 218. There's a lot of different spring sizes out there. Some of the older springs, when you can't read it, this is going to be very helpful for you. First thing we want to do is we want to insert a tape measure in inside the springs. Just simply bend the spring, push it in there, and get it stuck. You want to make sure you clear the stationary cone. So you don't want to put it in up here because you won't be able to get it in, and two, you won't be able to do it. So go ahead and clear your stationary cone, push it in right there. What you're going to do is once you get it there, you're going to do a measurement. You're going to count 10 coils over, and where that 10th and 11th coil meet, you're going to get the measurement in between. So let's go ahead and count. Okay, where the 10th and 11th coils meet, you can see it's exactly 2.5. Go ahead and put that information in the app right now. Put that measurement in. Okay, now we're going to do our 20 coil measurement. This is going to be your control group. This is going to tell you that you were right. At 20 coils, it should be double what your 10 coil measurement was. Okay, we're exactly 5. It is 5 inches between the 20 and 21st coil. Go ahead and put that in the app. If those two numbers match, that's going to tell you that you have the right spring size. It should tell you that this is a 250 spring. And it's going to be different on your springs. So when you do your count, it's going to be different each time you go through. For instance, this is a 207. When we do the coil count, it's going to be much different. This is an easy one because it went to the exact, pretty much, went to 2.5. But they're going to round up to the nearest 16th of an inch. So you're going to have some pretty tight measurements. That's why you're going to want to do both measurements to ensure you get it accurate. Because if they don't match, you got to do it over until you get it to match right. And sometimes you need to get a flashlight or even take the spring down and bring it inside so you can clearly see your exact measurement. It's important that you get the right size garage door spring because if you don't, it's going to cause you problems down the road. You're not going to be able to get that door balanced. Okay, the last piece of information you're going to need to know is what is the overall length of this spring, the distance from here to here. The easiest way to do that, and we build it into the app, is you're going to count all of your coils. Coil number 1, all the way to the very end. Count them all the way down. On this spring, I've already did it. I know that there is 95 coils. Once I put 95 into the spot in the app, it immediately tells me that this is a 19.5 inch garage door spring. Okay, well the app has done all the calculations for you. You now know exactly what size spring you need.